Hey Deanna, how are you? Nice to finally meet you. My name's Rob, and we're going to go through a little guitar lesson today. I hear that you've been playing, and really excited to teach you this song because it's a pretty fun one. For a few reasons. One, because all these chords that we're going to learn are, and there's a lot of them in the song that you've picked, but they're all exactly what you need to be learning as far as chords go. All of these are the open chords that can pretty much carry you through most songs. Not all songs, but a lot of them. And you can just kind of move them around. So we're going to be going over how to read chords and how to read that little chord chart that I took a picture of for you. We're going to be going over the capo and what that's for and how to use it. We'll go over, of course, how to put your fingers inside these positions and move back and forth smoothly. And then we're going to be going over pick types, a little bit on tuning, and then some strumming. So we have a lot to get through. At any point in the video, if you need to stop, let me know something that you need help with, something that you don't understand, by all means let your mom know and we'll just get that done. Okay, so anything that you need from me, let me know. The whole goal here is to get you playing this song as quickly and smoothly as possible. So let's get right into it. So as I mentioned, my name's Rob from America. Right now I live in Missouri. I used to live in Colorado where I played professionally, taught professionally as well. I had a music school that had about 1,000 students in it, I think, at one point. So I've been doing this a long time, and I love teaching. So that's a little bit about me. Now, I know that you are a little bit ahead of me as far as time goes, so 6 hours, I believe. So if there's a question that you have that I am not even awake to answer, then I will get it to you as quickly as I can. So, alright, so let's get right into it. Chords. Chords are, I'm going to take this capo off just for a minute. Chords are when you take your fingers, and I think lately you have been doing, most recently in your lessons, single note stuff, more, right? Where you're just using one note at a time. Well, chords basically are going to take notes and you're going to play them all at the same time. Okay? And then you're going to move your fingers again and you're going to make another chord. That's going to be another series of notes that you're again going to play all at the same time. Now, I know this looks kind of hard, but I have some tricks for you that are going to make it a lot easier. Okay? So the thing I want to mention about chords is that tuning is huge. Because if you're out of tune, hear how that kind of sounds nasty? So something that should sound like this might sound something like this, if I can bend the strings to make them sound kind of nasty. See what I mean? It doesn't sound very good. So being in tune, perfectly in tune, is pretty key. So I took the capo off so that we can make sure that you and I are tuned together. I have this little guy here that I tune with, and I keep him right here on the tip of my guitar. You probably have one that's like a little box that you can tune to. I'm just going to assume that you know the tuning notes, but if you need any help with that, let me know. So I'll just go ahead and ring through these notes so we can be sure that we sound pretty much the same, okay? And if we don't, I should go over that. If we don't, it'll sound like this. So if we're at the same note, it'll sound like this. No wobbles at all. But if we're off, and let me try this, it'll sound like this. Hear that little bit of a whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so if there's any whoa, whoa, whoas in there, then you want to go ahead and fix that. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and go through these. lastly, perfect. Typically I hit a chord after I tune. We'll get into that. You won't be able to do that the first time you watch this, but later you will. And then you say, oh, yep, that sounds good. Okay, now we can put the capo back on. And let me explain our friend the capo here while we have it. So, chords are made, especially open chords like we're going to be using right now, are made by taking your fingers, as I said, and putting them in particular positions, okay, making different sounds. Now, if you were to, scoot up here, if you were to just play this chord here, and these are the chords from the chorus. I'll go over what they are soon, so don't freak out about that. That's in a particular key. Now, let's say I wanted to raise that key without tuning my guitar. Well, on the piano it's easy because you could just take your hands and move them up another section to the keyboard. But here we have to use a capo. So we take our capo, and I know it's pretty hard. You might have to have your mom help you, but I think you're pretty strong. You could probably handle it. So what you do is you just squeeze it like that, and then when you squeeze it, and I typically do it with this part of my hand, and I squeeze it really hard like that with my whole hand, and then I take it and I put it, in this song we're going to have it right on the first fret, and I make sure that goes all the way up like that, so that touches there, and it's going to lay right there, right behind that first fret bar. So this is the first fret, that's your first fret bar, and it's almost like you have your hand and you're barring that whole fret. Okay? Now from there, I can still play open chords in a different key and still have these nice ringing tones here without having to make much harder chords like these to get the same sound. Okay? So if you need any explanation on that, let me know. I know I'm going through some of this a little bit quick, but that's what the capo is designed to do. So this song has the capo on the first fret. Now, once we're there, we're going to go over the chord charts. I think you have a picture. I know this is probably not the clearest back here, but I will use this as my reference anyway. So if you can see down here, and if you look at that little graph, it looks like you have your frets, which are going across. Those are those lines that go this way. Okay? And then your strings are going up and down vertically. Okay? So if we look let's look at a good one here. So if we look at E minor, for instance, up here in the corner. So what we're going to do, what this says, is we're going to play nothing on our big string here. Oh, almost forgot. These numbers in here are our fingers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and T, which we won't use T right now. So we have these 4 fingers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this says, it's just like plotting a graph. This says I'm going to take my first finger and I'm going to put it in the 1, 2, 2nd fret on the 5th string. And I should have made it a little bit more clear as far as, so this is like your 3rd fret, this is your 2nd fret, this is your 1st fret. And then strings, this is your big thick string over here to your left. And then that goes all the way down until you get to your skinny string down here. Okay? And we call those 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But you may already know that as well. So, as you're looking at it, your big string is on the left, little string on the right, 1st fret is at the top of the page, 3rd fret is at the bottom. Make sense? This is big, so if it doesn't make sense, let me know. And you can rewind this as many times as you want and see if you get that. So, what this says here at E minor is that we have nothing on the 6th string. We're going to take our first finger and put it on the 5th string in the 2nd fret, like that. I'll scoot up. And we're going to put our second finger on the 4th string on the 2nd fret as well. Just like that. And that sounds, and then you see those little open marks up there? Those little circles, that means that all those strings are going to be played open, like this. And that's how E minor sounds. Now, something that you will have to get used to is how to press, because I think that you haven't done much chords, so you're used to pressing one note at a time. But now we have to press both of those with the same strength at the same time. And make sure that our fingers leave space down here. Let me see here, down in here, so that we don't hit these strings. Okay, because we want it to be nice and open for this chord. Alright, so let's go through some of these chords. E minor, we just learned. Then we're going to move on to C add 9. C add 9 is going to be, let's take our hand off completely, and we'll go 3rd fret. Now this is 3rd fret based on your capo being 0. So you can't count this one as the 1st fret, you have to count this one, your first available fret. Okay, so this is 0 in this case. And then 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to have my 2nd finger here on the 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, on the 6th string, the big thick one. Oh, I'm sorry, we're doing C add 9, not G. But that's okay. We're just going to take that and move it down the string. So, still 3rd fret, 1, 2, 3, but now we're on the 5th string. Sorry about that. And you can see how naturally my hand is sitting right now. So, and your hand may be in a similar position. All I'm going to do is take that 1st finger and put it right there on the 4th string in the 2nd fret. It's going to look like that. And then my 3rd finger is going to go on the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. It's going to look just like that. Alright, so here's where we're going to mess around a little bit and do some cool stuff. Okay? There's a concept that we're going to talk about a lot in however many lessons we have, and it's called economy of movement. Okay? So economy of movement basically is the principle that I don't have to completely pick my whole hand up and go to another chord and have to memorize each and every one of all of these chords that I have to go to. Economy of movement says there's ways to economize or shrink up the amount that I have to move in order to get to the next chord. So let me explain. And this is why we're going to kind of bounce around a little bit. So right now I'm at C add 9, but to learn the next chord, which is G, so find G. If you look at C add 9 and you look at G, go ahead and take your hand off for a second and relax, because I know your fingers are getting tired. So we have C add 9 and we have G. If you look at them, they're pretty much the exact same chord, except for G, you're just going to move your fingers, 1 and 2, up one string from where they were at C add 9. And let me show you how that looks. So again, instead of doing this and then having to find G and do all this stuff, what we're going to do is we're going to be at C add 9. So I'll give you a second to get there. And then we're going to go from C add 9, we're going to take these two in the exact same shape at the exact same time, and boop, just pop them up to G. I'll do that a few more times for you. So we're here. I don't know which angle is best. So we're here at C add 9. Okay? And then we're just going to bring those two right up to G. Nice and easy. I'll show you this angle too. So we're here at C add 9. And we're going to take these two fingers. And this one, this 3rd finger here, stays right there. Press them really hard. Okay? So here is C add 9. Take those two at the same time. Boop. Look how small that movement is. Barely moving at all. Those are two totally different chords. Pretty cool. Now, we're going to keep going, and actually, since we're bouncing around and just learning the chords right now, we're going to start kind of with the chorus. So, G is actually the first chord in the chorus. Okay? Going from G, again, we're going to economize our movement. Our third finger stays, and we're going to go to D over F sharp. Here's how we're going to get there. Look at where we're going first. On the paper, which is first finger in the second fret on the big 6th string. So just one over from where your second finger is now. And then your second finger actually moves all the way down to the 4th string in the 2nd fret. So both of these fingers are going to move to the same fret. Now, since you can see it on the paper, I want you to go ahead and be able to see it on your guitar. So kind of see where you're going to be going. So I know I'm going here and down in there. Now, if you can, take that finger up just one string. So this guy just comes right there. And then this guy comes all the way through. You're going to see between your first and third finger this little hole right here. And you're just going to bring your second finger all the way down there until it hits right there. And this is how that sounds. Now that we're there for a second, really look at that. If your finger pattern or position looks like mine, and it sounds something like this, it may be hard to press. You'll have to kind of get back here in this area and squeeze really hard and pull back really hard, okay? But you'll get there. It may sound a little like that right now, right? And that's okay. Totally okay. But what we want to try to get to is that nice sound right there. That's a good one. Now, since you're looking at that, I want you to see if you can find where G is again, and see if you can go back to G. So as I'm looking at it, I know this one just comes down one, and this one has to come like back through this little pathway here, all the way back up to right here. So as I'm looking at that, I see it, and then I just bring my fingers there. That goes down, that comes up, and I like to try to do it, if I can, at the same time. Like that. And then we're back to G. Okay, so let's give our hand a little bit of a break. So far we've done C add 9. I'll just kind of show you while you're resting your fingers. We've done G, and we've done D over F sharp. Okay? For the purpose of the song, in the chorus, we're going to start with G right now. So let's go back to G. And then we're going to, I'll give you a second to get there. So again, we have second finger, 3rd fret, 6th string, first finger, 2nd fret, 5th string, and then, as you see, I put my pinky down here, but you don't need it. Your 3rd finger, also on the 3rd fret, with your second one on the 2nd string. And that's G. You there? Okay. Now we're going to go to D over F sharp. So remember, we just bring that guy up one, bring that guy all the way through. Now we're at D over F sharp. Now here's the cool thing, and let me get my sheet to make sure that I'm teaching you the correct chords. Yes. So now the next one we're going to go to is E minor 7. And I don't know if I put in, yes, I did put in E minor 7. So I'm going to make one small correction on my E minor 7 that I gave to you. I'm going to take that second finger out. Okay? So if you look at E minor 7, bottom, third one over, there's a 1, there's a 2, and there's a 3 all the way over here. I want you to go ahead and just don't worry about that second finger. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. From here, D over F sharp. Again, this finger stays right where it is, this 3rd finger, as you can see on your chart. And then if you look at it, from where you are here, especially without the second finger, you just take the second finger off and you just bring that one down one. So you take that off and bring your first finger down one string. That's it. Now we can even, now that's a fun one, right? Because now we're here and then we can go back up to D over F sharp pretty easily. And as you notice, my hand is not doing all this crazy stuff, okay? Keeping it nice and small, bringing it up. Nice and small. Alright, so now we're at E minor 7. Our next chord, let me be sure I'm correct. Okay, perfect. We've already learned this one. Now we're back to C add 9, so check this out. From here, E minor 7, Now we go back to C add 9, which means I'm going to take this finger, move it down a string. See how this finger is just kind of hanging out here? Well, he wants to go home to C add 9. I can tell. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have him go ahead and go home right there on the 3rd fret, 5th string. And now we're back to C add 9. Pretty sweet. Now, take a break, shake it out. All right, if you need to, you'll have those little dents inside your fingers and they kind of start hurting. You could take your hand like this and just kind of squeeze them out a little bit. You will, as you found with single note playing, and if you play enough, especially chords, you'll start to get some pretty decent calluses on there, which means that your fingers will get nice and hard. Okay, so it'll sound pretty tough when you hit on like a table and stuff like that. Once those calluses start to come in, that's where that pain from pressing so hard will be a heck of a lot less. Like, you really won't notice it much until you've been playing for a while. But the bad news is that it does take a little while to get there. So, don't worry about it. It's supposed to hurt a little bit. It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but that's okay. Alright, now, let's go ahead and go back, and we're going to hit G. Okay? So here we are on G. From G, I'll give you a second to get there. And then we're going to go to D over F sharp. So see if you could just see that. There we go. So we brought our second finger through, just brought this guy up one. Okay. Now we're going to take our second finger off and bring our first finger down. E minor 7. I love that chord. It's one of my favorite chords, by the way. Now, see how we're in that position? This guy wants to go home, right? So we're just going to send him right to C add 9 while we bring this guy down one string. Boop. And there we are. So, then you go back to G. So here's how the whole thing sounds, okay? This is the part where you could pause at this point and go back, get these chords down pretty smoothly, okay? Our goal is to be able to go through them something like that. And so what I'm going to do is run through that a few times so you can see how that looks, okay? And then hopefully pretty soon you'll actually be able to do this part with me. Alright, so here, I'll get this right up close. Alright, ready? Here we go. So it'll sound like this. 1, 2, ready, and we're just going to hold them for a full measure. 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 2, 3, 4 and one more time. 3, 4 and boom. 2, 3, 4 and 2, 3. Last time. 2, 3, and let's send it home with just a. Perfect. Okay, so that is the chorus of Let It Go, and what I want to do, I know it's a little bit unorthodox, but I kind of want to start on that because I don't want to overwhelm you. So let's go with those, and then we'll go from there. Okay? Strumming. Let's talk about strumming though, because there's a ton that we could do with that. Strumming is done, obviously, with the pick. I'm sure you play with the pick now, but strumming is a little bit different. So I have all these different colored picks here. This one's harder, this one's kind of medium, and this one's like really light. Okay? So what I want you to do, if you can, is get with a lighter pick. I use Dunlop's Tortex. They're a pretty cool brand because I always know what color I'm going for. And I've only broken a few. Out of several thousands of hours of playing, I've only broken a few of these. So they last a long time, which is really great. I think that the red one, the thin, and it's a 50.5 millimeter. If you find a pick that you have, maybe it's a different brand or something, but it's a 0.5, that would be a decent place to start. My orange one that I play with a lot is a 60.6, okay? And then I go up from there. This one's pretty thick, and you can tell the difference. So this guy, if I try to bend him, here, let me put him behind the white. So if I try to bend him, see how I really have to force that, and it still doesn't really bend very much. But watch this red guy here. So I take him, and I can just basically bend him in half. Okay? Now, why do we want that for strumming? Well, for strumming, your hand is going to naturally be moving like this. Okay? When your hand is naturally moving, I don't want you to have to manipulate your arm or your wrist any more than you have to. Not at first. So this thin pick means that when you hit the strings, it will bend with you and offer less tension. I know I'm using really big words right now, but I think you're smart enough to get it because you're a really smart girl. So as this comes through the strings, it doesn't offer a whole lot of resistance. As you can see, I can still have contact with everything, and my wrist doesn't really have to bend very much. If I had this guy, this thicker one, as I would go, it would get stuck. See what I mean? And kind of do that. So I would have to start bending my wrist more in order to get the same amount of striking across my strings. These are my strings. I know they're thick. Alright, so see how I have to like bend my wrist more and get more? Well, that's not a bad thing. It's just more that we have to learn right now, and more to concentrate on while you're still trying to concentrate on your left hand. So what I want you to do is go with the thinnest pick so that when you come down, now watch my wrist. See, I could just keep my wrist the same there without having to do all this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's pretty easy. Now, holding the pick for strumming may be a little bit different than holding it for single note playing. I tend to hold it relatively the same most of the time, but I do have different holds on different picks depending on what sound I want to get out of my guitar at that particular moment. So whether I'm playing fast or slow or hard or all over the place, I mean, I just always have a different, kind of slightly different way that I hold things. So for strumming though, it's pretty much all the same. And I do have a little cut on my finger because I have an injury from where I was strumming, and when I came up right here, I caught my fingernail on the string and it like tore through my fingernail. So now I have like a little cut there. So excuse the band-aid, but when I hold the pick, I'll hold it so that it looks like that. So I have almost like you're writing-ish, kind of like this. So this is how your hand should look, something like that. Okay, kind of like an OK sign or like a bunny rabbit sign. When you make the bunny rabbits up on the walls in the shadows, kind of like that. Except instead of being right on the tip, you want to be right of your finger. You want just a little bit of that hanging down low, so it looks kind of like that. Okay. Then you just take your pick and put it right in there. Sometimes you can get it a little too flat like that. You don't want that. You want it to come, because that'll mean that you have to hold your wrist kind of weird. So you want it to just kind of pop over like that. Okay? And you'll feel it. Mine, I feel it right in here. It kind of digs in a little bit. Kind of hard that I can't see you to correct you, but that's basically where we're going with it. Okay? So again, it looks like that from that angle, looks like that from that angle. And you can see even my little finger sticking out there at the bottom there. So, what we're going to do right now is not really worry too much about the strumming pattern of the actual song. We're just going to get strumming on these chords. So, once you get these chords down, and you can do this nice and smoothly, and without much mental thought. So a lot of muscle memory here. Like your muscles just automatically know where to go. Okay? Eventually, and I know this first day may seem hard, but eventually what you're going to do is kind of be like this. Alright, Rob, what's next? Come on, I'm getting bored. That's where we want to be. That'll be cool. So, for right now, though, we'll take it nice and slow. the chords that we're playing. G, D over F sharp, E minor 7, C add 9. And again, this is the chorus of Let It Go. So, we're going to take our pick, we're going to go to G. We're just going to hang out on G for a minute. We're just going to go down. Okay? Now, I'm just letting my wrist fall. I have this nice little... well, that depends on what size. I don't even know what size guitar you have. Never mind like what size your forearm is. But me, I put my guitar, and I have a bigger guitar, and I put my forearm, like my little elbow here, I put this right in there, and it just kind of hangs out there. That way, my hand, the goal is to have your hand somewhere right along this. So when you're strumming, your hand and your pick are coming right along your sound hole there. Okay. So however that is for you, you may have to be back further, you may have to be up further, but I do want you to be somewhat supported. When I'm standing and playing, I actually use this part here of my arm, and then I have that part of my arm on there. But that's a little harder to do when I'm sitting like this. Even when I'm like this, if I'm playing like finger style or like a classical style, then I will definitely, again, have that part here, and I'll even make a mark there, like right across there. Okay, so right now though, however you have to hold it, however your positioning is, we're just going to go right across there. We're just going to go down. Okay, and what we're going to try to do is just go 4. Now the song is only 2 beats per chord. Okay, we're going to go 4 right now while we're just learning, because I want to get into a nice rhythm here. So let's give it a shot, alright? So, it'll be 1, 2, ready, and G. Just down, 2, 3, 4, and D over F sharp, E minor 7, and C add 9. Nice and smooth. And let's go back. C add 9. Okay, now let's keep going. So we're just going to hang out here. Hang out on G. Don't move. Now we're going to add in up. So as you can see, as I add in the up, I have to change, just kind of dig you have to, after you come out here, you got to just make sure that you come back in a little bit, so that you strike those strings. And when you come up, some people have a really hard time with coming up, but it's just nice and smooth. The same thing. The gravity that allows you just to drop your hand down, right here, you just use your muscles and bring them up to the same spot. Have it feel the same though, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Alright, so here we go. So, I'll back up a little bit, put my knee up so you can see the full strum. And so let's start again on G, and let's go down and up this time. Okay, ready? 4, and we're still going to go 4. Here's what we're going to do. We'll go 4 beats right now. We'll go through twice, and then next time around, we will go every 2 beats. And then you'll really start kind of hearing where the song is. Okay, ready? Here we go. So on G, 2, ready, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and... So we're playing in 8th notes now. And C add 9. And one more time, G. That's D over F sharp. Here's E minor 7. 2, 3, and 4, and C add 9. 2, and 3, and 4, and... Okay, now let's go every 2 beats. Ready? Let's give it a shot. 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I know, because I love to teach people to play with the song. Okay? I believe, and I think it's hugely important. And it's fun, because you can like sit there singing and playing guitar with the people actually singing and playing. Like, that's just cool. So, to me, it's a big deal. So what I want you to do is build up to even if it's just the chorus for right now, and we will get through, I'll do another video and we'll get through the whole song, okay? But for now, let's see if we can play with the chorus, which I think is about the tempo of... So I'll call these out for you, okay? So here we go, G. G, open up sharp. E minor 7, C add 9. C add 9 is where she goes, and then back into it. So, where are we at? We're at 36 minutes right now. I think that is a lot for you to get through, and pause and go back and pause and go back. And I know that you'll have to build up to each little section of this. Really looking forward to hearing your progress on this. And again, anything at all. Even if it's like, hey, I'm doing this and it's making this sound, how do I fix this? Let me know. I will say that with some of these chords, as you're playing chords, one finger being in the way of the next finger is typically going to be your issue. And here's what I mean by that. So if I'm here, right, and I'll zoom in a little bit here. So, okay, so if I'm here, and if I have my hand like that, then I'm not going to hear these, and it's going to sound like this. Alright? So what I want to do is be sure that I have all my fingers nice and bent right on the tips, and that I have clearance right inside here. Okay? From this one to this one to this one to this one. Everything is nice and smooth. Also, you're going to want to press as hard as you can. Not so much that you're like doing this and causing this to happen, but you're going to press back, straight back from this part of the fretboard straight back to here. So I don't want you to pull up. I don't want you necessarily to pull down. I want you to take your finger pressure and just push straight back. How I do that is I use my fingers here to push back, right? But also on the back of my guitar here, I'm using my thumb and my forearm here to push forward. Like that. Okay, so I'm pushing forward and back. So the back of my hand here, like right in this area here, is trying to meet my fingertips. Okay? I'm trying to push them through to my fingertips. I'm not trying to, again, pull it down. I'm not using like my whole arm to do this thing. I'm not like doing this whole thing. I'm just pushing straight back. So my fingertips are doing everything that they can to meet the back of my hand. And my thumb here, in this area, along here, is doing everything it can to push back forward, nice and cleanly. So my energy is just going straight through the fretboard. Straight through this area. It's not going down, it's not going up, it's going straight through. Okay? That is probably going to be the answer to that question. Well, yeah, so that covers the fingers hitting the other strings. Right? And that also covers not pressing hard enough. Those are two of the biggest issues that I've seen when I have people that first start playing chords. And it's with adults just as much as it is with kids. So the difference, and a cool thing that you have going for you right now, is that you're 10. And so you don't have to worry about not being able to make a fist in the morning, because your hand is going to bounce back a lot because your hand heals really fast. So even more than like mine or your mom's would. So you can do this all day and then shake it out a little bit, and then the next day your fingers might be a little sore, but you'll be fine. Okay? So let's end this first one there. You have all those chords and you know how to read them now, right? Because we went over exactly how to read these charts. And I also printed out for you, if I could do a little, oh, I almost made it. Alright, so I also printed out for myself, and I sent your mom the link to this. You will see they have the chords on here, and there's a lot more chords than I gave you because some of them are a little much. So what we're doing is we're breaking it down and simplifying some of these things. So you may say, oh, well, that doesn't sound exactly like the chord, and that's bugging me. We can deal with that at the time, but for right now, we're just going to play like the bare bones of the song, and not worry about all the little intricate details right now, right off the bat, because I just want to get you playing, and you can play just with these chords that I'm teaching you here, and sound just like the song and have fun with it. So that's the whole purpose, is to have fun, right? So with this, you can see where the chords come over the words, okay? And you also can see, because of that, let me get back to the first page there. Like down here, you already know the chords in the verse because it tells you right there. The only thing we haven't gone over is your movement patterns from like D and A sus to A minor and stuff like that. But I don't want to bog you down with that right now, because the verse in the song is actually harder than the chorus. So that's why we started with the chorus. And then the pre-chorus, I think, is just D to C, so that's not going to be a big deal when we get to those. But for now, let's go with this. And then next time, once I know that you're picking up the chords well, and everything's looking smooth, and I'm seeing some good progress, then we'll jump right into the verse and we'll be on our way from there. And again, the cool thing about these two that I really want to send home is that you're not just, and this is the cool thing about customizing lessons like this and learning songs that you actually want to play, which is so fun, right? But it's cool because all of these chords, I'm a worship leader at my church, and we play I don't know, about 60 songs a month or so, and every single one, almost, with the exception of like 2, every single one uses these chords that I'm teaching in some way, shape, or form. And you might have to learn like 4 or 5 more chords, open chords, that is, to be really dangerous with the guitar and really be able to play almost anything that you want to play. Within reason, of course. So it's just a really cool way to learn, because at the same time you get to actually learn Let It Go, which, I mean, who doesn't want to learn Let It Go, right? It's like everybody's favorite song ever. It's probably my favorite song of all time, personally. I mean, I'm kidding. I'm really kidding. I do like it, though. So, alright, that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions. Stay warm out there. Talk to you soon. Bye, Deanna.